Hi guys, it's the Architect here, and in today's video we are going to be modeling our helipad, which is going to be situated at the front of the building, which is the south elevation, which you can see from the south elevation. So to do that, we're going to have to model a floor here that's going to sit the tunnel that will lead someone into the first floor from the helipad. So to do that, to create the floor, we're going to go to our first floor. From the first floor we go over to floors and model our floor. Right here, and then we finish mass. So here's what it looks like in 3D. We have this floor. Then now we want to adjust the floor. Probably it's too long and want to adjust it a bit down to this point, probably, yeah. And then okay. So after adjusting it, we want to make a landing for the staircase, because we're going to have staircase moving up in these points that will lead to the helipad. So we want to make landings there. So we go to first floor and go to floor, which is here, architectural, and then want to make a smaller floor. And we have this second floor already serving as the landing. Now I want to also reduce this because it's kind of projecting out too much, and probably around here, and hopefully our staircase begins from this place. So now we want to make staircase leading to another level. So to do that, we have to go to our elevation and check for the levels that are there. We've got some levels that are here that are not really necessary, so I'm going to delete them before we proceed. And then the beam level, we've got the first floor level is necessary, so I deleted the levels that are not really necessary for this work, so we can have a more clearer space to work. We also want to delete this level and this level. So now we want to make staircase that will go from this point here that will lead up to another point where we'll have another landing. So we have to create another level by going to level, picking it up here, and let's call this first landing. Yes, then we want to know the height from the first floor, so we want to make it about 1.5 in height, 1500, and we have this. So we also want to create another level, but that will be soon. We'll do that when we've created these steps already. So we'll go back to first floor and go to architecture, to stairs, the stair, and create our stair. But before we create our stair, we want to check the top level where the top of the staircase is going to end, and it's going to be in our first landing level we just created now. So we do that, and yeah, I think we've got the complete risers, and this is what we have, and want to adjust it this way and to lap with the edge, and we have that now. Let's see what it looks like in 3D. Yeah, in 3D we've got this, we've got our first level here. So now we want to create a landing at this point also that is going to serve for a landing ground. So to do that, we now have to go to our first landing to create a floor there. This is our first landing. So to create the floor, we go to floor, and then we'll go to see what it looks like. So we've got this floor right here now. This is the floor we've got here now. So we want to create another staircase that's going to lead up to the final landing that we're going to have. So we'll go to south elevation to check the level, and then we see the level is still first landing, so we can also create our next staircase from the first landing level. So to do that, go to architecture, stair, and then we actually have to create the next level in which the next staircase is going to end. So we have to create another level and call that level second landing. We have to create another level and architecture level, and I want to call it landing. Now we have a second landing, and we want to know the distance. From the first landing, so we're going to make it 1.5 as well. So now we have all this. We can delete the dimensions when we're done, so we can have a clearer workspace. Now we have this, then we go to the first landing where we want the base of our second staircase to start from. So we click on first landing and go to architecture, stair, and draw it out to the last point, and now you have this stair created, and then want to adjust it to fit to the edge. You can also do that by using the align tool, but we're going to use this instead. We're going to do it manually. So right now we've got the stair finish, and go over to Now this is what we've got here. So we want to now create the second landing itself, the second landing floor. So to do that, we go to the second landing level on Revit and give it some time to open. Now I want to create a floor here that's going to now lead us to the helipad itself. So we go to floor, create our floor by picking this line, and I want to offset this line to be 1.5. Finish, and now we're done with it, and you can go see what it looks like in 3D elevation, and yeah, it's what it looks like. So now we've got our landings, which leads us down to the first floor. Now we want to create walls that's going to sit on this slab here. To do that, we go into our first floor. Remember, this floor is the first floor, so we go into our first floor, and we can go pick a wall. Can pick wall and finish face exterior, and here pick these points here. And then down to here. So we go to 3D to see what it looks like, and this is it. So we have this, but it doesn't sit at the edge of the floor, so we have to go and adjust that. I want to move this in. And this, now it sits at the edge of the wall, at the edge of the floor rather. Then we have this serving as a wall leading straight into the floor. Now we want to extend this wall more into the first floor, so we click on it and drag it in more, and click on this as well and drag it in. So we also check for the height of the wall, and the height of the wall is 1.5 here, but it's not going to be suitable. We want to make it about 200 because it's just a lobby. Come up as well. Now we have this, and we have them elongated into the floor to make the structure more firm. So right now we have all these, and then we now want to place the helipad itself in the structure. I made a quick model of a helipad recently, and so I'm just going to load that into the project, and I'm going to drop it in its position. So to do that, I'm going to go to component and click on place a component, and if you come down to this place, you see a whole lot of families that have been loaded into the project already. So you choose the one you want. So we have the helipad here that I designed, a quick one, and then I can click on it and bring it into the project and place it somewhere around there. So now you notice that it's not at the current level we want it to be, so we just have to drag it towards the front. A little trick I do, so we keep it at the front and go to south elevation, that's the front elevation, and then we are in the front elevation, and then we see the helipad here. We now click on it and use our arrow keys to control it to the position we want it to be, to the level and position we want it to be. So we do that manually. That's just a little trick I do. You can have your own means of doing that. We'll pull it up a bit, and we now go into 3D to see what it's looking like. Now in 3D it looks like this, but it's not yet in position. So to make it in position, we go click on the top in our navigation bar here, click on the top and come click on it, this on the family, and drag it to the point we want it to be and let it be there. Now we come in another view and see what it looks like in this view. So we have this here now. So we want to kind of shift it away from the building so it doesn't, the blades of the helicopter doesn't get in contact with the surface of this building. So we come back to top level and come down here and use the arrow keys to shift it a bit, and then we see what it looks like now. Yeah, so we have that here. So now you see the helipad is now situated in its correct position, but then we've got a little challenge because the floor of the second landing doesn't lap with this level. So we're gonna see what we can do about that. What we can do is we can make it higher and add one more staircase. We can make it higher and then add one more staircase. You know, someone can actually pass. Let's see if it's possible. Let's take this man here over to the first floor landing. Let's copy him and paste him on the first floor landing, and we have him there, and let's keep him on this point and see, is it possible that he goes down without interference? Yeah, it's possible, but for the sake of taller people we want to make it a bit higher. Yep, so we've got it to be that height. So now we've got this here, and if you notice it still doesn't lap with the edge of the building or edge of the helipad. The last landing doesn't lap with the edge of the helipad, so we want to also adjust that. I want to work on that, so and click on Okay, then we go to elevation and create a level for the helipad that we just did. Can create a level for the helipad we just made. Yeah, so we call it just helipad. We don't want it to be helipad 8 or 1 or 2. Helipad and okay. Okay, so now we have this. We're gonna create another staircase that's going to lead us to the helipad finally. So to do that, we go to the second floor landing level. Go to the second floor landing and then create a stair that should lead us from this point to that point and adjust it. And then we hit on OK. Now we have this leading up here, but as you can see, it doesn't really make much sense like that. So we have to adjust the floor. So now we have it all out, and yeah, we have it all lapped in and connected to the helipad level. So now we want to also create this opening here from this round, these bars that goes around in the helipad. So now we have our helipad modeled in the structure. So we want to now proceed to creating beams for this particular structure. And then after creating beams, we're going to create the hand railings for the structure also. So to create beams for this structure, we can go to our beam, our file. We can go to structure and click on beam, and if you click here, you have a list of beams. Yeah, but we want to go with the concrete beam right now. So we click on beam and concrete beam and go over to first floor, and want to create this beam here to this point. But before we proceed, we want to know the type of beam we have. So the size of beam we have here rather. So we go down here and click on this, double click on it, and it's going to take us into the family, and from the family we double click and know the length, and it's 750, and we know the width is 230, so we want it to be 750 so that it can be a deep beam, because the structure is actually a deep cantilever structure. So we want to make it a very deep beam. I would have made it 900, but I think 750 is around the minimum for a deep beam. So we just click on OK and load into project. Yes and yes, and alright, existing, and we have this beam already placed here. So we go over to our floor again and continue placing the beams, and we place the second one, structure beam, place the second one here, and finish it up with this point. And so we've got these beams down here, placed down here. So we want to place the beams also for the steps and the staircase and the landing. So to do that, we are going to actually use the extrusion to achieve this. So but before we continue to place the beams for the steps and the landing, so we want to reduce the stringer, we want to remove the stringer rather. Yeah, so we click on this and double click on that and click on this once and take off the stringer, and check the other side if the stringer is still there. You click on it as well and take it off. And okay, now we have a clear space to work for our beam structure. So now we want to create another beam for the landing and the staircase. So we're just going to do it by going to architecture, component, model in place, case work, or you can use another, probably a structural model in the components tab. So you come over to extrusion, pick this, and now you can pick, you want to set a plane first. You set the plane to pick this point and this here, pick all the lines, so we want to make the material for the beam structure, and that should be a concrete material. Finished. I want to search for a concrete material and concrete beam. Yeah, I want to see what it looks like. Appearance. Let's increase the scale. Okay, the scale is okay, and then we make it finish and we have that material here. Now it's a concrete beam material, and we will do the same for the other side. We'll do the same for this other side, and pick a plane and change the concrete beam. Okay, and that's it. We have this two structure under here, and okay, and we're gonna continue doing the beam structure for the remaining these slabs around, and also for this staircase here. So to do that, we're gonna go into architecture, component, model in place, casework. All right, now I want to do the beam for the slabs that are at the topmost part of the construction of the structure. So let's start with this part and go to architecture and components, model in place, casework. And finish. So you have the beams now structured at the edge of the staircases. So we want to now do the final beam structure. Now we're going to use the sweep tool instead. So go to architecture, component, model in place, casework, and okay, and go to sweep, and you can either use the sketch part or the pick part. So we're going to use the pick part, and we're going to pick the edge of So we have this, so we have the beams around now. We have the beams around, we have the structure. So now we want to proceed to putting in our railings for the structure. So to do that, we're going to come down to first floor level, that is this floor. We want to put railings here and here, so we have to come to this first floor level here, click on it and just wait for it to load here, and it's opened. Now we can place our railings here at this side, each side. Now to do that, we just go to architecture, railings, click on railings, and then click on this tool which says pick line, and we can only do one per edit. Okay, go back to architecture, click on railing, and finish. So now we go back to architecture and railing. Yeah, we have that. Now we go over to 3D to see what it looks like. Go over to massing, show massings, and so this is what we've got for the railings, and I think this is where we're going to stop. In our next video, we're going to model the lobby that leads you into the first floor, and I hope you do like this, and I hope you learned something from this. Do like, share and subscribe for more videos like this.